You have been set apart, and your presence alone shifts the atmosphere. Some will be drawn to your light, while others will resist it without knowing why. This is the weight of being chosen. The anointed ones, welcome. Be mindful. Sometimes you're facing a test, not just a person. Karma doesn't always wait. Sometimes it arrives through you. You are a living karmic test, a spiritual X-ray, revealing truth. Ever been disliked before saying a word? That was their soul recognizing you as a challenge they weren't ready for. Your presence forces change. Some rise, others resist. Chosen one, your name is in the great war. Stay vigilant, stay aligned. Your existence is a divine message. Even stranger is this: a person's karma is determined by how they treat you. Their future chapter is shaped by how they treat you. Your presence is an unseen contract. Are they going to get up? Are they going to fall? It is up to them. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover will permanently alter your perception of yourself if you've ever felt like you set off strong responses. First of all, you are the mirror that reveals concealed decay. The majority of individuals conceal their true selves from others. Instead of being authentic, they create identities based on what they want other people to perceive of them. They appear to have it all figured out, ignore their fears, and repress their imperfections. That facade begins to crumble the moment you enter their lives. Simply being close to them makes them see themselves in a manner they were never prepared for, and they detest it. You don't need to say anything or do anything spectacular. Because of this, some individuals will detest you right away and without cause. It's because your energy exposes their meticulously constructed self-image, not because you've mistreated them. You act as a mirror, reflecting back to them everything they attempt to ignore, including their unhealed wounds, their secret worries, their dishonesty, and their concealed jealousy, things they were previously able to overlook with ease. And they blame you for making them feel that way, rather than confronting the issue. They'll tell themselves you're too much, conceited, or challenging, but that's simply their ego going into overdrive. Although people want to believe they are decent, honest, and in charge, their actions, rather than their words, tell the truth when you become involved. Some will mature and accept what they see, while others may snap, attempting to smash the mirror rather than confront what it reflects. They dread you because you were the one thing they could never lie to. Yet you were never the issue. This explains why you can change the vibe in a room just by being there, and why certain people feel vulnerable around you even when you haven't done anything to cause it. You don't just enter people's lives, you make them visible to themselves. For those who aren't prepared to accept that reality, you will always be the antagonist in their own narrative. The second is that you make lying uncomfortable. Comfortable falsehoods are the foundation of people's whole lives. When they're not happy, they convince themselves that they are. People continue to be in relationships that they have outgrown. They adhere to customs in which they have no faith. They persuade themselves that their decisions are the correct ones, regardless of how out of alignment they may be. These delusions provide them a fictitious feeling of security and a world in which they are not forced to think too seriously about anything. Then you arrive, and all of a sudden the fractures appear. The carefully constructed narratives individuals tell themselves are disrupted just by your presence, your energy, your thoughts, and the way you live. You don't even need to speak. You bring to their attention the facts they have suppressed. You force them to bear the consequences of their own concessions. Their established existence begins to seem inadequate. Their justifications are no longer credible, which makes you dangerous. Because illusions are cozy, people like having them. Admitting the reality is acknowledging that they have been deceiving themselves, squandering time, and acting out of fear rather than intention. The majority of individuals will stop at nothing to avoid facing themselves. Their natural reaction is to reject you, rather than the lie when you appear and unintentionally upend the basis of their delusions. They will call you too much, tough, or different, not because you are, but because they will have to start thinking about themselves if they accept what you stand for. Some may harbor a quiet grudge against you, while others will attempt to discredit you, make fun of you, or make you feel like an outsider because they know deep down that they have been living a script rather than their reality, and your presence compels them to acknowledge this. The reality is the most unwanted visitor in a society where cozy illusions rule, and you are the one causing the disturbance rather than intentionally upsetting people's lives. Third, you cause their greatest karmic obligation to be activated. Some individuals believe they have escaped the weight of their past and spend years avoiding the repercussions of their conduct. They spend their lives evading responsibility, harming others without feeling guilty, and accruing unpaid karma like an unpayable bill. Then you arrive, and all of a sudden, the bill is due. Simply existing in their lives brings out their unresolved history. You don't need to do anything. It's an energy rule, not a coincidence. People are forced to face what they have been avoiding for years because of your presence, which functions as a karmic trigger. On a deeper level, their spirit understands precisely what's going on, even if they may not even comprehend why they feel uncomfortable around you, why past guilt or shame suddenly resurfaces, or why life appears to take a turn for the better after meeting you. They were destined to meet you, and their response to that encounter will decide whether they succeed or fail. This explains why certain individuals would attack you without any justification. You unintentionally remind them that they have been living on borrowed time, that they have gotten away with unethical behavior, and that their spiritual debt is now being paid back. Because you unwittingly stand for the justice they've been evading, rather than because you've done anything wrong, they may attempt to manipulate you, place their blame on you, or even incite others against you. Your presence feels different to those who have lived honorably. Because karma is about balance rather than punishment, individuals experience alignment instead of fear and acknowledgement in place of resistance. Those who have done the right thing will regard you as a sign that they are headed in the right direction, while those who have stolen, lied, or hurt others their whole lives will feel vulnerable, uneasy, and compelled to flee. For some people, the scariest thing in the world is that you have to activate karma rather than bring it. Fourth, you are the spiritual upgrade that no one wants. Growth is difficult. It means letting go of long-held ideas, challenging routines, and facing the aspects of ourselves that we would like to avoid. Not everyone is prepared to take such action. Some individuals take solace in their own misery and cling to their difficulties like a security blanket. They utilize their suffering, their justifications, and their misfortune to create whole identities. They seek proof that being trapped is okay, not a route out. Then you appear, and you wreck it for them without even trying. You are an unwelcome spiritual advancement. Just your presence upends the illusion of stability they have established for themselves. They are frightened by your energy, which makes it obvious that they cannot remain the same. You don't even need to urge them to change. Accepting responsibility is a prerequisite for growth, and accepting responsibility entails ceasing to place blame on one situation, history, or other people. It implies that they must acknowledge that they are capable of doing better, and some people find that understanding to be too burdensome. People fight you so hard because of this. They will quarrel, start arguments, or even attempt to discredit you. Desperate to show that you're not as advanced as you seem to be, others may attempt to bring you down to their level. You will be completely rejected by others, who will either cut you off or treat you as an enemy. Actually, what they're rejecting is what you stand for, not you. You are a live choice, a fork in the road, change or remain the same. The majority of individuals are unaware that this is taking place. They just know that they are nervous around you and that something about you bothers them. However, they know deep down that meeting you signifies the end of their old ways, and some individuals would prefer to battle to remain the same than make even a single move in the direction of change. The fifth is that you are a living crossroads. Through you, people make their own decisions. Whether they are aware of it or not, everyone you encounter is at a spiritual crossroads. People are always faced with choices in life: change or remain the same, behave honorably or succumb to evil, ascend or descend. Most of the time, people drift through these options without thinking. But when they meet you, that decision becomes urgent and inevitable. You are a catalyst, a moment of truth masquerading as a person, rather than just another individual going through life. A person's treatment of you is a defining act that initiates their karma and goes beyond the present. Their path opens up if they accept your energy with dignity and humility. They unwittingly set themselves up for failure in ways they won't realize until much later if they reject you, betray you, or attempt to destroy you. This explains why some individuals abuse you and then appear to have a downward spiral in their life. It's cause and effect, not a coincidence. The universe keeps a watchful eye on them when they come into contact with you. Their response dictates what happens next, and your presence serves as a spiritual test. Some will rise, motivated by your enthusiasm, and fueled to become their best selves. People will attempt to control you, oppose, or attack you without understanding that they are chosen a road of conflict and deterioration. The fact that most people will never realize the connection just serves to highlight how deep this is. They'll encounter obstacles, failures, or an increasing feeling of emptiness, but they won't understand that their decision to treat you was the one that sealed their doom. They had the opportunity to level up, but they choose to turn down the one thing that may have benefited them. You don't have to do anything at all, including punishing others or seeking retribution. The cosmos handles the rest as soon as they make their decision on how to treat you. Sixth, you disclose who is acting and who is not. The majority of individuals are actors. They pretend to be whatever they want the public to see, say the proper words, and put on the appropriate masks. Some seem to be good-hearted, while they have deep-seated animosity. When they're just repeating stuff they don't comprehend, some people appear smart. When their confidence is based on insecurity, some people act successful. Their lives have been based on looks rather than content. Everything they've been pretending to be is suddenly in danger of being revealed when you arrive. You pose a danger just by being there. You don't even need to confront them. They feel uncomfortable with you because they know in their hearts that you are not who they claim to be. Their polished performance begins to falter around you. Sometimes they become passive-aggressive, defensive, or agitated without even understanding why. On an electromagnetic level, their soul understands that you may see not only the person they present, but also their true self. Those who have done the inside effort will connect with you right away. They won't perceive you as a danger because they have nothing to conceal. They have already taken away their fake layers, so your energy feels like home to them. However, others who continue to hold on to their illusions will oppose you, be envious of you, or even attempt to undermine you. Not because you have done anything bad, but rather because being around you makes them realize how much of their lives are a show. This is the reason why some individuals who think they are virtuous, spiritual, or righteous will be the first to turn against you. Being seen in a certain manner is essential to their whole identity, and your presence makes it more difficult to maintain. They reveal themselves by their response to you. You don't intentionally expose them. Most of them won't, but they have the option to mature and become more honest. Rejecting the mirror is simpler than confronting what it reflects. You serve as a sobering reminder. You expose people, not just meet them. Seventh, You cause their deepest wounds and secret anxieties to flare up. The majority of individuals are quite skilled at escaping from themselves. They conceal their fears behind relationships, accomplishments, or diversions. They use denial, business, or achievement to dull their grief. They convince themselves that they have healed from their previous traumas, but in fact, they have just learned to stay away from them. All those buried wounds start screaming for attention when you come up. You don't even need to delve into their suffering, so it's not because you're attempting to. Your presence, your energy, and your mannerisms reveal all they've been attempting to hide. Perhaps your confidence draws attention to their self-doubt. Perhaps your candor reveals their tendency to deceive themselves. Perhaps your capacity to leave toxic settings serves as a reminder to them of how stuck they are in their own. Whatever it is, there's something about you that makes them want to do the very things they've been avoiding for years. Most individuals won't view this as a chance to become better. The last thing they want to do is confront their suffering, which is a necessary part of healing. They search for someone or something to blame instead, and that someone is often you. They will persuade themselves that you are the cause of their discomfort, that they may avoid dealing with the feelings you have evoked by rejecting, pushing you away, or discrediting you. They would rather think you're conceited, challenging, or self-centered than acknowledge that the true problem is inside them. The reality is that they were always fighting these fears and bearing these scars. It just so happens that you unintentionally revealed them. And most people will be angry with you for reminding them of what needs to be fixed, rather than appreciating you for bringing it to their attention. The eighth is that you are a teacher that people don't want to learn. No one enjoys learning something they didn't want to learn, particularly if it makes them change. The majority of individuals believe they are prepared for development until it really requires them to do anything, such as confronting their own truths, letting go of old ideas, or ending destructive patterns. Here's where you can help. You're not here to engage in superficial dialogue or to encourage individuals to remain stagnant. Although waking people awake is a risky profession, it is why you are here. People become defensive when they are uncomfortable, and growth is unpleasant. Many will see you as a danger rather than a guide. They'll tell themselves that you're the issue because most people aren't prepared to acknowledge that something in their lives has to change, which is what it takes to embrace you as a lesson. To feel better about themselves, they will make fun of you, ignore you, or misrepresent what you say. Desperate to avoid gazing in the mirror you unwittingly hold up, some may even go to great lengths to turn others against you. They detest what you stand for, a change they're not ready for, a reality they've been avoiding, a reality check they never requested. Not you. What about the irony? Since you wouldn't disturb them at all if they were really at peace. The more they fight, the more they demonstrate why you were needed in the first place. However, they react, they lash out, and they attempt to discredit you, not understanding that by doing so, they are exposing the same things that need to be healed. You were the instructor they weren't prepared for, and instead of absorbing the lesson, they flung the textbook at your head. You were never their adversary. The ninth is that you generate a conflict between their higher and lower selves. Every individual you encounter has two selves, their lower self, which clings to comfort, ego, and fear, and their higher self, which yearns for development, truth, and advancement. The majority of individuals live in the middle, fluctuating according on their circumstances, experiences, and social circle. However, that silent internal conflict escalates into a full-scale conflict when you enter their lives. Their higher self is stirred by your presence, reminding them of their potential and the power, integrity, and knowledge they have been neglecting. Their lower self may feel temporarily inspired by you, drawn to your energy, and even uplifted. But when it realizes what's happening, it panics because growth entails discomfort. It entails breaking cycles, letting go of bad habits, and accepting responsibility. And the lower self despises responsibility. This explains why some individuals seem to love you one minute and hate you the next. Why they may respect your strength, but later be angry with you for it. And why they may seem to be your friend before abruptly betraying you. It's not really about you, rather, it's about the struggle inside them, between the lower self trying to maintain control and the higher self yearning to change. Most individuals don't even aware they're at war inside themselves. All they know is that something about you makes them feel torn. They are inspired, yet insecure, attracted to you, but protective. Their lower self is struggling to live, which is why they may lash out, ghost you, or attempt to undermine you. Not because you have done anything wrong. You are just the battlefield. You are not the fight. They had to decide whether to embrace their full potential or delve into their own shadows when they first met you, and how they treat you reveals which side is prevailing. The 10th is that you are a litmus test for emotions, revealing who is prepared for development. Until they encounter someone who questions their self-perception, people assume they are powerful, intelligent, and emotionally mature. Here's where you can help. You are a litmus test for emotions. Whether someone is really evolving or merely acting, their response to you reveals where they are in their spiritual path. Self-aware people will be able to sense your vibe right away. Even if they are unable to articulate the reason, they will have a feeling of alignment. Because they've done the inside work, facing their fears, owning up to their shortcomings, and accepting responsibility for their own development. They won't see you as a danger. They will be attracted to you rather than fight you because they realize that you are a sign that they are headed in the correct direction. However, some people aren't prepared. They may believe that they are, but their response to your energy reveals otherwise. Their ego goes into overdrive as their unresolved wounds flare up. They respond in the only manner their lower self knows how, by fighting, refusing, or attempting to pull you down because they feel exposed in ways they are unable to explain. Some will spread rumors about you in an effort to incite others against you. People will make fun of you, minimize your knowledge, or pretend that you are the issue. However, they are unaware that every action they perform directly reflects on them, not on you. For this reason, when others respond badly to you, you shouldn't doubt your value. All they're doing is showing how much they've grown. It's similar to giving someone an exam they were unaware they were taking. While the unprepared may panic, lash out, or flee, the spiritually mature will pass with ease. Individuals are not exposed, judged, or coerced into doing anything. You just exist, and in that existing, people rate themselves without realizing it. It is all up to them whether they ascend or show their shortcomings. 11th, you are the last warning from their karma before the repercussions arrive. There are some who believe they can outrun karma. They steal, deceive, destroy, and lie with no repercussions because they think they always will, since they have in the past gotten away with it. They think life works on their terms, that their deeds exist in a vacuum. But the cosmos doesn't forget. It simply waits. And when you turn up in their lives, it's frequently the penultimate moment before their time runs out. You are their final hope to escape their karma, not it. You are the red light that flashes before the train crashes, the warning sign. They have a chance to change, to choose otherwise, to halt the self-destruction before it's too late, because of something about your presence. They can change their course if they pay attention. Ignoring or attacking you will just hasten the already inevitable outcomes. This explains why certain people respond to you so strongly. It's desperation, not just distaste. You will be met with open hearts, open minds, and open spirits by those who are supposed to be in your presence. Even if you are rejected by those who are not ready, you will have left a mark that they will never be able to remove. So, proceed, unflinching. Whether people fear you, hate you, or love you, one thing is for sure. They will never forget you. You are more than simply a person. You are a living karma, a divine disturbance, and a force of change. This is just the beginning. If this message resonated with you and sparked an inner awakening, I promise you won't want to miss what's coming next, because there is still so much more to discover and so many more profound truths to delve into. If this connected with you, please press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Tell me which section most resonated with you, and please share this video with everyone you know who should hear it. By sharing this message, you never know whose life you may be able to influence. You are a member of a movement, and this is more than just material. One truth at a time, let's continue to awaken the globe. May you be blessed.